Dave, how do you, kind of get the running game back on track this week?
Well, I think after a game like that, um, two things happen on good teams. One is that the players tend to blame themselves, okay, and two, the coaches tend to blame themselves. And I think both parties are correct. And I think we have to play better, and we have to coach them better, and that's what we're going to do. After each win, and I've always told my players this, stay hungry, stay humble, and just understand that the difference between winning and losing is not very great. And you have 24 hours to celebrate a win. You have 24 hours to mourn the loss, and then it's on to the next opponent. And whether you win it or whether you lose it, we have to come back and be 1 week better. So certainly there's a lot of improvement we need to make. As I tell them, it starts from the ground with their footwork, with their leverage, with their hand placement, with their takeoff. It starts with those fundamentals. And we continue to work those each and every week, whatever the outcome was of the previous week. And so that's really where we are. So we're not going to jump into the wishbone or anything like that. We're going to stay the course, and get it better.
Dave, has it been a good response so far this week?
The kids have been fantastic. They really have, and I think they totally get that whole I know they totally get that whole concept. And I told them, I said, hey, 1 point, 1 point makes a big difference in how you feel on Sunday, and certainly on how you feel after the game on Saturday. And we made the corrections, and I've got a pretty mature group in there, as you guys know. And I've had those kids for a while now, and they get it. They get that message, and they know we got to come to work each day. And the response has been fantastic. We probably had our best, maybe our best 2 days of practice. I haven't seen the tape from today, but I liked what I saw in the field. But yesterday was probably the most physical Tuesday we've had since we've started.
Dave, before the season, Jimmy and Carter and Cradle, those guys were talking a lot about running off the ball, being more aggressive, especially in the running game. Have you seen that on a consistent basis, or have you seen that enough really through 4 games here?
Yeah, I mean, they're talking about our wide zone play, or our zone play, and if you watch the tape, if you have a chance to watch the TV copy or the game tape of any of those previous games, I thought we definitely did that. When we run our power schemes, there's not as much running off the ball per se. There's pullers and there's double teams, but it's specifically in that wide zone game. Yeah, we're doing a much better job with that, although it didn't show on Saturday. But we've done a much better job with that up to this point so far this year than we have in the last 2 years. And we started all of that stuff in 2018.
What did you see from your team in pass blocking on Saturday?
Well, I thought we did a great job in protection. We picked up every blitz that they ran. There was a lot of 3-man rush, which just a sidebar to that. I told them today, there's plenty of teams that give up sacks on a 3-man rush because usually there's nowhere to go with the ball. And I thought we did a great job of protecting. And I told them this morning, actually, I've never seen a quarterback complete so many balls into drop 8 coverage as Kenny did the other day. And then when he didn't, when he scrambled, it's because things were covered, because it's hard to find a place to throw. When they pressured us, I thought we did a really good job with it. I think we missed one on a 3-step drop. But I thought they did a nice job with it. I think Carter Warren is really developing into a very reliable, big time left tackle. He's been they've all been really solid in that regard. 2 years ago we couldn't pass protect, and that's why we lost the Notre Dame game. So we've improved a lot certainly in that aspect. Yes. I think this week, I'm sure you're going to get to Boston College. I think it will be more of a test, because they have a different blitz style than North Carolina State did. North Carolina State had some good stuff. These guys are, they're kind of they are a, middle pressure, interior pressure kind of team. And they make there's no disguising it. It's coming, they know it's coming, and it's up to you to get it blocked. So, and they've got some skilled guys, probably the most skilled rushers, particularly on the perimeter that we've seen up to this point. We've seen some fast guys, but these guys I think are fairly skilled. You can see how they're coached. They do a really good job with their edge rushers on the two tackles.
Dave, you mentioned the kind of middle pressure, interior pressure. How nice is it to have a guy like Jimmy with that much experience and obviously the leadership qualities that he has to kind of be able to not only pick things up himself, but dole out the assignments correctly?
Well, it's fantastic. And, he comes up here every Tuesday and Wednesday night and really now it used to just be him in the past 2 years. And now he's got the whole entourage with him on a Tuesday night and a Wednesday night. It used to just be he and I, and we'd go through the third down pressures, and I would tell him how we wanted to handle things, and he's really smart. I give him, I give him a lot of leeway in there. It can be choice A or choice B. Choice A might be better, but if you go with choice B, when the bullets are flying, if we're playing fast, you can't get to choice A, and choice B is a little bit easier. Just go with that. And like he's fantastic. But with that said, it takes the other four to be on the same page with him, as well as the running back. And and they do a really good job with that. So I've been very pleased with that.
Dave, when you look at the video, some of those short yardage situations that didn't work, were the problems physical? Were they maybe the fundamentals weren't right, or was the scheme? What exactly was the problem there?
Well, the real short ones, the quarterback sneaks. I mean, we were running into the Chinese army for sure, but we felt like with our success in the past sneaking the ball that we were going to go with it, and so those we were fortunate to convert. The one that jumps out in my mind was on the goal line. If I had the other play, I wanted to run it. I wanted to run another play out of the same personnel, and Whip threw it at me really quick, and I said, "Yeah, do it." And I had the other play in my brain, and I didn't get it to him, because we were moving pretty quick, and I was like, "Yeah, go with it." And really, I regret that decision, because had we run the other play, it probably would have walked in. So, and that's football. I mean, we've been successful with that in the past, and it's kind of like those A-gap pressures. They know it's being run here, we know it's being run there, and and you got to stop it. And unfortunately, for us, they did. So in that case, choice B would have been better, and I didn't spit it out quickly enough, and and that was the result. We got stopped down there. So so we have to do a better job that way.
Dave, you mentioned fundamentals earlier, and Bryce talked about it earlier this week. Just wanted to get your perspective when you watched the tape and you had time to evaluate it. What was the thing, about your fundamentals that you wanted to see your guys do better? Maybe better footwork, lower pad leverage, reading, knowing your assignments better off the ball. Was there something specific that you guys were like, hey, this needs to be a point of emphasis this week in practice?
Well, yeah, angles, particularly in zone blocking, angles are really important, and again, it all not to rehash all that, but it does start from the ground and it goes up, and it starts with your footwork, and then it starts with, staying on track. And if you get off track, you can get beat over the top by a linebacker. And so that's certainly been a point of emphasis. And frankly, it is each week, but even more so this week for sure. And I didn't think that, I didn't think we did a great job with angles. I probably didn't do a great enough job coaching it. And so we didn't get a good result, but certainly that's been a huge point of emphasis is, how to work, working the combinations and being on the correct angle to either block a down player or block a linebacker. Really, really key.
Dave, what did you see from Carson specifically at right tackle on Saturday?
Well, Carson did a really nice job in protection for me. Number one, we ran a wide zone. We ran a wide zone to him, to the two tight ends, and he got knocked back. That guy was a pretty stout player. He got knocked back a little bit, and I just thought, what, I got to have more muscle in there. And so that's at that point, that was about 10 or 12 plays into it. At that point, I told Gabe I had him, I wanted Gabe ready, to be ready to go. And I thought I needed a little more oomph in there, so I ended up putting Gabe in there. But I thought Carson did a really nice job for us overall, and then he ended up playing through. Well, he played played the first 12 plays, got knocked back a little bit. At that point, I made a change and I kept Gabe in there. That was second quarter. I kept Gabe in there probably midway through the third quarter. And then I put Carson back in and I thought he did a nice job for us at the point of attack. And then certainly in protection, he did a really good job. And he's one of those, he's been one of those guys that's really, not a multi-position player, but certainly can play either tackle. And, he's kind of my utility guy that way. It's like, okay, if somebody goes down, I always have Carson in my back pocket, if he's not starting. So, I like him a lot. I think he's come so far. We laugh about it all the time. I tell him how terrible he was when I got here, when he was like the fourth right tackle in 2018. He probably weighed 250. So he's really developed and is still developing, and I'm expecting big things from him through the rest of the year.
I saw Gonzalez in there for a little bit. I mean, what did you see from him, and just overall, how has he been progressing this year?
Well, Matt is a guy that I think is going to really be a big time player for us. He played 8 snaps to be specific about it. I've had him working at guard. Okay. And last week I moved him back out to tackle because I knew I wanted to start Carson on the right. So I moved Matt back to left tackle. And it was like, he's worked all of camp, all of summer, all of camp at left guard. And I moved him to tackle, and it looked like he never left the position. And, he'll probably swing back and forth this week between those two spots. But, he's a very talented guy. He's a tough guy. I put him in the Wildcat, and he did a nice job. He did a really nice job for us. He was one of the second pullers on one of those plays. And then on the second one that Sib ran, he was really kind of a point of attack guy. Gave up a little penetration, but he totally understands our system and what we're trying to do. And as a redshirt freshman, that's pretty good. He needs to get stronger and all of those things. I mean, he's just a young guy, but I think he's going to be an excellent player for us. He's got a great demeanor, and he's a tough guy. And I tell you, he's from Long Island, so I always tell him, I said, give me a little New York attitude when you're out there, okay? And I think that role for him right now is a really good role because I can get him on the field, get him developed. He's not quite ready enough to start yet, but he's getting close. But I think that role for him at this stage is really good to kind of spoon feed the action to him.